great fight coming up as well this weekend. It's Oleksandr Usyk. Is he still as brilliant as we knew him to be up against Daniel Dubois? What an opportunity for Daniel Dubois. So all of you watching on YouTube and Facebook right now, you'll be able to tune in and see Spencer Oliver over in Wrocław in Poland alongside Gareth Davies, both of whom are inside the Tarczyński Arena. The scene today for the press conference, Dubois Usyk, that is on the way and the boys are ready and waiting. Spencer, Gareth, good afternoon to you.
How are we, Jim, Simon? How are we all doing?
Afternoon.
Very good, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Spencer, I reckon, am I right? The workouts were yesterday. Now, no doubt if they were, you were there. What did you witness?
Yeah, listen, I think that I went in to see Daniel Dubois just before he had his workout. He's supremely confident. He looks in great shape as well. When he come out, I think tactically, Dubois is going to be working the body in this fight. You know, Don Charles, his trainer, who he's been working with for the last 3 months now, has got him working the body, punching to the chest because of the elusiveness of Oleksandr Usyk. Usyk looked great in the ring as well, by the way, when he got in there. I mean, he looks like he's fully filled out as a heavyweight now, but he's still very light on his feet, look very relaxed. And it's Independence Day in the Ukraine today. And, you know, there's a lot of Ukrainians in this area, 250,000 of them actually. Loads of them turned out yesterday to see Oleksandr Usyk. It's going to be an emotional day in here on Saturday, but he's doing it for his people. And he's had a great turnout. But both guys looked exceptional in the ring.
Almost ominously, Gareth, as Spencer was saying, Usyk looks terrific.
He does. Look, we know he's elusive. We know that he's a great ring general. What we saw from Daniel Dubois, which Spencer was just talking about there, was up close, working the body of Don Charles, his trainer, going really deep into kind of close range action. That's going to be the key. Mentally is going to be the key, whether he can hold up against what will be probably 45,000, a record audience here. It's 42,700 odd is the record audience here, spectators here. He's going to have to keep his mental balance, but what he's also going to have to do, Jim, Simon, is close the range on Usyk and do it early. That's going to be the difficulty for him. Those dancing feet of the great Cossack fighter. That's going to be the key in this, how he closes the distance, because he's going to have to make it a 6-round fight and go early against Usyk. Everybody agrees that's his best opportunity because we do not see him outboxing Usyk over 12 rounds.
Yeah, and interestingly, Gareth, we had this conversation yesterday with Filip Hrgovic and spoke to him because he came on show, spoke very well. I sort of said to him I was underwhelmed by your performances against Zhilei Zhang and against Dempsey McKean. Then we moved on to discussing what he felt would happen with Usyk and what he felt of Daniel Dubois. And he said, too slow, too slow.
Yeah, well, listen, when we watched them both, Simon, in the open workouts, Dubois was the first up. He looked great, and like you say, you know, he's working that body really well, punching the chest and whatnot. And you thought, you know what, this kid's got a real shot here. Then Oleksandr Usyk comes in, and you see the difference. You see the difference in, you know, the movement, the way that he glides around the ring, you know, the way that he throws his punches, the speed of hand and speed of foot was incredible. And now I think that is the difference. Speed could be the key here in this fight.
But Spencer, Dubois does have the power to damage.
Absolutely.
That's why he's got an opportunity. That's why it could end up as one of the great upsets to rank with Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson or Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua, the 2 knockouts of Lennox Lewis way back when. There is an opportunity because he's got the danger and the power in his hands.
Listen, what he needs to do, Oleksandr Usyk, we've just been talking about, is he needs to close, Daniel Dubois, he needs to close the gap on Oleksandr Usyk.
And early.
That is key here. Like, you know, he needs to move his feet before he throws his hands. If he tries to close the gap by throwing punches, he's going to come unstuck. Because if Usyk gets into any sort of rhythm, it's going to be hard for him.
What have we seen from Daniel in the last 4 fights since his loss to Joyce that give us any cause or pause to think that going against someone like Usyk that we know makes the angles and has the footwork, that he's going to be able to close that gap? Have we seen anything? I mean, against Lorena, he was iffy, and in previous fights, not...
Yeah. it's difficult, Simon, because he's never really boxed anywhere near this sort of calibre of fighter, and that's the thing. You know, we know what he'll know what he's got to do. Don Charles, his trainer, will know what he's doing. They've been training out in Spain, up in altitude. He's going to be in incredible shape. But that closing the gap thing's not an easy thing to do with a guy that's so slick like Oleksandr Usyk. So what have we seen? You can't go by the Kevin Lerena fight because, you know, we saw there, he said that he injured his knee in the first round. He went down a couple of times. He got the stoppage in the end, you know, which is good. And basically what he's got to do is he's got to throw everything and the kitchen sink early doors. He's got to go in there and he's got to let his hands go, Simon. And I think, you know, I think he can do that, Dubois. He's only young, and I think he'll know what he's got to do tactically. He's got to be prepared to get knocked out to knock him out.
Simon, it comes down to self-belief.
Yeah.
Whether he really believes this is his opportunity to win those 3 world title belts, the IBF, WBA and WBO, whether he truly believes this is his time or not, he's got to look at this as a major opportunity, as a win-win. It's so much about his mental strength, because he's such a quiet, bashful young man, but a giant physically. It's key that Don Charles keeps him calm. It's going to be a long ring walk here with Usyk lapping it up, a long national anthem, all of those things. He's going to be waiting in the ring probably 15 minutes.
Yeah. Don Charles has been working on that psychological stuff with Daniel Dubois. Actually, in the build-up to this fight, we've seen him speaking a little bit more. He's coming out of his shell more. He's starting to believe in himself, you know, and I think that's what it is. You know, I think that you was right there in what you were saying, Gareth, that, you know, it's all about self-belief, and he's got to believe in himself going into this contest. If he doesn't, he's going to find it very hard. But it's going to be such a hostile crowd here. You can see in the background, this stadium really is a magnificent stadium. 45,000 people here, you know, rooting for Oleksandr Usyk. It's going to be difficult. And the big $1 million question is, can Daniel deal with that?
Fascinatingly, by the way, the very first event in this stadium, Jim, Simon, was 10th of September 2011, and it was Tomasz Adamek and Vitaly Klitschko for the WBC title. So there is history. Obviously, it was built for the 2012 UEFA not Champions League, but the Championship, the European Championship. Yeah. But it has boxing in its history. As Spencer said, there's 250,000 Ukrainians here. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere.
Well, you guys are doing well. They're putting up the ring behind you.
He's a national emblematic hero.
Sure.
It's going to be a very emotional night.
Well, we can see the ring getting set up behind you guys. Everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook on talkSPORT this lunchtime can see that. And the noise that comes with it. You're fighting against that noise, both of you, very well indeed. Gareth, as you probably know, we had Don Charles in the studio, Dubois' trainer, just the other day. And he knew what his fighters has got to do going in against Usyk. Have a listen.
Like I said, every so often something special happens, and we're about to witness something special happening. Daniel Dubois, Triple D, whom I've been working with him for now 16 weeks. I believe this guy is going to cause what we know as an upset. We won't be upset. We'll be
elated.
Jubilated.
You think he'll cause an upset?
I believe he will. I believe we're going to go and do something historical, something special. I believe he will become the unified world champion on the 26th of August.
Wow. I mean, for Usyk, Spencer, how different a fight will this be compared to the 2 he had against Joshua?
You know, I think that tactically Usyk will play the same game. You know, he'll keep out of range, he'll keep just out of distance. And as Daniel Dubois goes, Usyk's great at just closing that space, taking a step back and then stepping back in. And that's what he does. He actually makes fighters work when they don't want to work. He presses them with his feet. He's great. He controls the distance. If you control the distance and the space, you win the fight. That's what he done against Joshua. And I believe he'll apply the same tactics because he'll think that Daniel Dubois is going to fight a similar sort of fight to Anthony Joshua. He's similar in stature, you know, and he's similar in style in many ways, really. So it's down to Dubois here to sort of try to change things up a little bit, be more explosive in his attacks, because otherwise, like I say, Usyk's great at controlling that space.
Have we seen a difference in Usyk in terms of size? I mean, ultimately, once upon a time, he was a pumped-up cruiserweight. Are we now seeing a bona fide built heavyweight in terms of Usyk's physicality now?
Yeah, it was noticeable yesterday at the workouts that he has filled out now. He has built into a genuine heavyweight, as David Haye did, as Evander Holyfield have done in the past, and he'll believe in his power as well, because as he's seen from his side, he'll have seen Daniel Dubois under pressure from Joyce, under pressure from, as you say, Kevin Lorraine, who's not a big cruiserweight even. So he'll want to create the things that Spence was talking about there that Usyk does so well. He creates brilliant angles for his left backhand. He creates great angles for his jab. He's called the Cat for a reason. He does Cossack dancing for a reason. He did clubbing dancing last night.
He did.
With his strength and conditioning guy, where he does a kind of out of control yet in control dance. He did juggling, everything. It's all about balance and how he
Sounds
controls
like a
the
circus
dance.
act.
The key is. He is a circus act. He's rather like Vasyl Lomachenko. The key is Daniel Dubois does not allow him that momentum and rhythm. He's got to jump on him early. Usyk's a 9-1 on favourite with the bookmakers. That's why this will be a great upset. If
Gareth,
Dubois
you've done so well with that. It's got an image in my mind, mate. Forget the ring walk. He's coming in a unicycle, isn't he?
He might well do, you never know, with his Cossack boots on.
Yeah, there was all sorts going on. There was juggling going on, tennis balls round. I heard that, Simon. I heard that. No, he was having a little rave up in there. There was dance music pumping, and he was having a little rave up in there. You know, it reminded me of many ways of Gareth out on a Friday night, you know.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.